Sasha.
Okay. Seriously,
Hey.
the looks have to get me, everyone. Hello. Welcome back, everyone. We are here with your coverage of Below Deck, Down Under. I am one of your hosts, Sasha, joined, of course, with Chappell. And here we are, all right? Before we even get started into this podcast episode, I just want to give a trigger warning. We're going to be discussing instances of sexual assault. And if anything around that is even remotely triggering, click off. We'll come back next week and we'll start again, okay? So we care about you more, and that is all that matters to us. So if you can't turn on and if you can't be here, it is okay. All right, everyone. But it's all right. And if something comes up later as we're talking through it all, just know that there is help for you. The National Sexual Assault Hotline. I'm going to put the link in the chat, but it has availability and help 24 hours. The phone number is 1-800-656-4673. Make sure you get help. If you know everyone else that needs help, make sure you send this to them as well. Here's all the resources. It's from rain.org. We're thinking of you all. Buckle up, buttercups, because we're here. How are you, Chappell? Welcome.
I mean, Sasha, I'm excited to talk to you like I always am, but this has just been the worst occasion to talk to you about. You and I have another podcast we haven't talked about yet either. And so because we haven't talked, this is our first time talking this week. And we got a lot of stuff to talk about, especially due to, the happenings on Below Deck this week. I had been seeing rumblings about it on Twitter and stuff, but I kept saying no spoilers, don't spoil me, because I didn't know what the extent of it was. And now that I know, I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed in the people involved that we're going to get into tonight. And then I'm just disappointed that we have to come and talk about this part, because this is the ugly part of reality TV, the real part, right? And sometimes this stuff happens and it needs to be addressed. And I don't think I want to be talking about this with anybody but you.
Yeah. here we are. I'm grateful. Just so y'all know, we were a little late because we were trying to figure out where we go with this. And even this morning, Chappelle texted me and was like, "Are we doing are you okay? What's going on?" So again, if anyone like this bothers you, please, you do not need to listen to this. But also, I feel like as a family, we're gonna get through this. The chat, I feel like we're all in it together, and it's vibes only for how we're gonna work through it all. Okay, it's just here we are. But I feel so frustrated, but I'm all I think I have so many feelings, right? As a woman, or as a human, honestly, right? But as a woman, it brought up a visceral reaction for me, watching it, where I was like, oh, I know what's gonna happen. Oh, it's almost like there was so many speed bumps, right? Into and now it could have stopped. And now it could have stopped. And it's just the visceral reaction to how frustrating it is. And imagine if production wasn't there. Imagine if Aisha wasn't there. Imagine if the cameras weren't there. And unfortunately, that is the reality for so many people. And it's not just one person, right? Laura, you're a dumbass. Okay, I'm exhausted because it's almost like these two episodes were like the perfect I don't know if perfect's the right word. The perfect storm, yeah, of how horrible it is for men and women, right? It isn't just a one-time thing. It isn't just this only happens to women. This only happens for men. And I'm so appreciative of Asia, the captain, and production to come in and build this safe space. It's just wow.
Yeah, Aisha is a rock star of a human. Just the way she was able to just come and do something that a lot of people have not had the courage to do. And a lot of times, this is the bare minimum. The things that Aisha did, those are the bare minimum. It should not even get to that point. But once you see stuff like that happening, we should all take a stance against it. We should all be anti this behavior, sexual aggression toward women, toward anybody, period. And we see that, like you said, demonstrated on both sides. I think that from a production standpoint, this is probably the best I've ever seen this handled on television.
100%.
The best I've ever seen it handled on television. We've seen tons of stuff similar to this, but also, Sasha, this might be the worst that I've ever seen it presented on television from a standpoint of we watched it happen. Like I don't think I've ever seen someone get into the bed with naked with a woman on television against, and then like completely like to where you see every step of the process where she's saying, I'm too drunk, I don't want to be around you, I just want to sleep, I don't want to do this, and we're watching it all, and all the signs are being ignored, and this guy is just doing what he wants to do. So it's kind of like it was a horrible situation that we had to watch in almost slow motion, and then we watched production step in at every turn. And so I'm sure somebody's probably like more educated about this than me, can tell you all the things production could have done. But for what I was presented with, I was so proud that I was watching them step up, and I wasn't going to come on here this week and be like, why didn't anybody say something? People
Yeah, like
and I'm very happy.
Yes, us with our pitchforks, right? Because listen, the two people that are always ready to fight is us two. And then now you give us a podcast to yell at people.
To fight. Right.
Listen, so I agree. And Anna, I think, points this out really well, that this is the best Bravo has gone about handling this situation too. I agree with you, Anna. We've had assault issues in the past seasons, and Captain Productions did nothing about it back then. I 1000% agree. It's just that I watch The Real Housewives, right? Like I've watched Below Deck from Jump as well, and it's just all of it together feels so painful to watch. And Caitlin, I agree in the chat, because she says it proves that you can do everything right and still be in danger. Here's the thing, right? How about instead of teaching folks or teaching people, right? Because this isn't just about women, but teaching people how to dress or how to act, don't drink too much. How about we teach men and women and people not to assault people? How about that?
Teach consent. Teach people what it means.
Enthusiastic consent.
Right. Like purposeful, go out of your way to make sure the people around you are safe. How about that? Like these people work together, they live together. They should all be good stewards, and be looking out for each other as humans. And so we see Zarina and Aisha constantly, like Aisha from Jump goes, I think she's too drunk at the bar. And we've seen so many people, heard so many stories of people, oh, well, they were really drunk and then they got into an Uber and we don't know what happened after that. Or, they were drunk, but, they were flirty. It doesn't matter. Once she was impaired, at that point, you don't have to babysit everyone. I know we get into a lot of like, oh, this person's a grown up. They can make decisions for themselves. Yes. But also there's a level of common decency where you are supposed to keep one eye out for somebody who is out, who is impaired, right? Like they are not their whole self. So at least
people get to have fun. If you want to be drunk and act a fool, I think it's okay. Like act a fool isn't like have fun, right? Not have fun. Act a fool Luke and Laura wise, but act a fool and be silly. That's okay. Why we cannot and will not ever police that behavior. Instead, what we'd like to police is these idiots that can't get it together and can't figure out what that means for me.
Yeah. And Mark in the chat said it took Aisha's own personal experiences. She was able to live in that moment and say, this has happened to me. And so, because of that, but it shouldn't take that to get there, right? Like I should not have to be a victim of sexual assault to say that it's wrong, right? But we see people like Aisha who stand up in the moment and they go the extra mile and they try to help these people. And again, she should not have to do that. It should be on these people who are getting aggressive and to try and assaulting people and touching people and being in other people's spaces. They should be accountable for their own actions. And it was incredible to watch. But yeah, I appreciated the way it was handled so much. Like again, I'm sure there's things that they could have done even more to protect these people. But at the same time, seeing Aisha, the way she did stuff, the way Zarina did stuff, the way the captain did stuff, the way the way everybody in the cast, not named Laura, reacted to the situation.
Not with L names, yes.
Right. Oh God. And so this is tough, Sasha. I mean, dear God, I guess for the people who haven't watched the episode, do you want to outline what happened?
Yes, let's do it. So we really start for this piece, because this is honestly takes up a good amount of episode 7. and end of episode 6. So after the tip meeting, right, folks are going out, they're ready. Laura, for once, is on time. So everyone is out, right? People are impaired, okay? Like they are drunk. And Laura has already started, touching Adam and has started moving inappropriately. And it's getting weird, right? I want to make that clear. It's just even with Adam, that's why it isn't just a one thing. Laura is like, "Oh, do you not like me? Is something wrong with me? Oh, is something wrong with you?" And then the other piece, Luke is like, "Oh, I messed up," to Aisha, right? And is like, "I, maybe should be talking with Margot better, blah, blah, blah," right? So he's trying to get back. Then it cuts to a scene where the chef and Adam are chatting. Chef is checking in with Adam. "Are you okay?" He's like, "I'm trying to let her down. I don't know what to do." Here we are, right? Having these conversations. And then cut to the end of the night. Everyone is drunk. Folks are losing it. Culver even says, "We got to get the hell out of here." It's wild. And that's when all hell breaks loose, because I hate those drunk people, because I know a few that will steal stuff when they're drunk, right?
Okay, look, don't yell at me. We're here to yell at Luke and Laura. This is not about me. I might have walked out of buildings with plants before if I thought that they looked nice. But yes, I agree that at some point you have to be old enough to say, I am acting like a child. Adam was looking down on everybody because that's kind of just his vibe.
Yes.
He's so much more mature than everyone. But at the same time, he wasn't wrong. Don't steal people's stuff. Don't harm people. Be drunk and be in your space. You should not have to affect your alcohol should not affect the other people around you. That should not be a
Exactly.
thing. You know what I'm saying? So here we are.
Yeah. And it just gets crazier because he steals this like beautiful, huge plant thing. And the vase breaks, of course, like the thing that it's holding in. And with that, it's already started. Margot is pretty drunk and is in Luke's lap, which again, I was feeling uncomfortable, Chappelle. I don't know about you, because I was watching that and I was like, no, right? Like, just get out, like, move her out of there. And Aisha
Mhm.
does call it out, like, why is she in there? And you can't make jokes, even though Aisha said it first, right? She made some joke, like, "Oh, you're not getting any or something tonight." But I think Asia was almost using that as like a haha, make sure you know what's going on.
People and Adam kind of points it out later on. People try to approach these conversations in different ways so they don't embarrass people, so they don't shame anybody in the moment, so they don't scare anybody, don't want to get anybody defensive. Especially with drunk people, you have to really be you have to be aware of what you're saying and how you're
Yeah.
addressing them because they're drunk. They're not going to react in a normal way a lot of times.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I think that was her first way of saying, like, for the record, this isn't going anywhere. And then from
Mhm.
there, she had to be more and more stern based on the actions. But Sasha, it just you never would have been able to get me to believe it would have gotten there in this
On
situation. It's just
camera. Like,
on camera,
imagine what he's done off camera. That's what I mean.
right?
I don't understand. It's really hard and frustrating, but also yeah, and I think we're having this conversation in the chat as well, right? About being drunk. I understand what folks are saying, like, you should be aware if you're drunk. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with that, but I think that if you choose to get drunk and there's like 20 people in your group and there's sober production with you as well, I think it's okay. It is what it is. And you should be able to police yourself, like Chappelle said, where you shouldn't cause other people any issues. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's where maybe um that should be our baseline, right? Yeah. Is that we just shouldn't be able to hurt other people under the guise of being drunk ourselves or take
Mm-hmm.
advantage of their drunkenness. I think that's the baseline for how we should be reacting.
Right. And I think Michael pointed out that as a man, that's how he feels about like
Yeah.
defending himself, right?
Which,
And I get that too. Sasha knows me. Like, I like to party, but I will go get a bodyguard in a heartbeat. I will go
mhm.
find my friend. I have a friend. Y'all will hear us talk about him often as one of our mutuals. But I'm not going out if I feel like I'm going to get drunk and I don't have backup, but that's a me thing. If I did go out and I felt like, I wanted to get drunk and be naked or whatever the case may be, I shouldn't feel like my life is threatened. But I do understand the idea of I want to be able to have that agency in my own comings and goings, right? Like I want to be able to say I control who I get in the car with, what I do. And so I think that's definitely a personal decision whether or not you decide to get drunk in public. But at the end of the day, you should always be able to feel safe. And that's not something that we like I said, we cannot control what other people do. We can only control what we do. And so if we're all keeping ourselves safe and worrying about ourselves, nobody should feel like they're unsafe. At least that's from my point of view.
Yeah, and as the DD friend, let me tell you, folks should be able to get drunk and be happy. And as a designated driver, yeah, I was a ringleader, and I was like, all right, come on, my children, right? Like I crossed, I was initiated into my sorority with 8 other girls, and guess what? All 8 of us would sometimes, end up in one car. Guess who the driver was? Because me. And it is what it is. Like the point is like we should all be communal in this. And Luke and Laura are not part of that communal agreement. I think that's what we're trying to make clear here. And yeah,
Right.
agree. Michael's with us too. I think he's saying
Yeah.
like nobody should take advantage. Period. It's like I understand what he means as defense, but the problem I think is that why do we all need to be on defense? Okay.
Right.
So sorry, go ahead. No.
No, it's saying this is wild. We shouldn't have to. We should be able to watch TV and not see this too, right? We should not have to live in these moments. People should not go in watching Below Deck, which, I think I don't remember seeing a trigger warning beforehand, but they could definitely gave one of those. Like I said, there are things that could be done better. But people should be able to watch a show about yachting and drinking and partying and stuff like that without having to see a man physically removed from a woman's bed, butt ass naked. You know what I'm saying? Like that should not be something we experience. And so this already is a lot to just discuss. But I do appreciate the chat for adding so much nuance to the conversation because everybody has their own lived experiences. But as long as we can come together and agree that, sexual assault is always wrong. There's no right way to do that. It's always incorrect. This is wrong behavior. We have to call it out, and then we have to make sure that we see it when we see other people doing it. We call it out then too.
Yeah, it's wild because then it just gets crazier and crazier, right? So we get to the boat, right? Harry is already like every time Margot gets drunk, she's with Luke. I was like, chill out, Harry. All right, she just doesn't want you. Read the room, please.
We can't even pick on Harry this time because of this damn sexual assault.
Exactly.
Like, I had so much to say about this man, and now I'm like, I guess I'll leave him alone.
No, we have to because he tried with Laura, right? Later, he checks her. So all of that to say, then we get to the boat. Aisha is now immediately, I feel like, with her body blocking Margot and Luke. She's like, let's get out of here. Margot says, I want to sleep. No, Luke, I want to sleep. Right. And we keep getting that over and over again. And I think production did that on purpose to say that there was never consent given. So we keep hearing, no, Luke, I want to go to bed. Right. And eventually she's in bed and Aisha is, oh my God, it's wild that she has now used her body to lay in bed with her to protect her. Like that's horrible that someone needs to do this.
Not only is that horrible, but that's also scary. She's using her body to protect someone else's body, where she could also be a victim, so it's so scary that she had to do that, but she did it. That's what I said. Like Aisha, I was just, I was so incredible watching someone do what they were supposed to do on camera in front of everybody the entire time. And I agree. They got every angle of this. Like there was nothing to be misconstrued. Like we don't need to hear Luke's side of the story. Like he might say, "Oh, I'm drunk and I don't remember that stuff," and that does not matter. It doesn't matter. And so like I've seen it all because we got firsthand accounts of this. Like we saw Aisha in the moment talking to people and saying like, I'm literally gonna go defend them. I am literally getting in the bed with her. That's where I will be. We saw all of that. And then we constantly heard Margot, even in her drunken state, saying, yep, I just want to go to bed. I don't want to, no Luke tonight. I just no Luke tonight. I mean, how many times does she have to say it before we realize that this is, this has gotten so far? And I think production even gave him enough rope to where he could have tapped out at any time. He could have easily just went to bed. And they gave him so
Or
many
gone
opportunities.
to the other idiot that obviously would have taken. Again, I'm not saying that that's
Yeah.
okay. I'm just saying there was someone else, right, that was
Mhm.
maybe more willing. I'll just leave it at
Mhm.
that, because he's still a piece of shit, right? And he
Yes.
still sucks. But the point is, like, maybe there was, if he really needed to. Ugh. And then, of course, at that moment, it's like the devil won for like 1 second, and the lights cut off. And as the light cut off, which is so just sucks, and Aisha has to leave. She is the chief too, right? She's one of the heads of department. So she just goes to look what's going on. The chef also, right? Zarania is looking around what's going on as well. And then they all come back to production just screaming, y'all.
Yeah, Sasha, I was thinking, did Luke do this? Why did the power go off? I was
Right?
like so paranoid at that point because I was like, it was such an opportune moment. You know what I'm saying? Like he's drunk enough to where he knows the lights are out. This is my chance. Like that's how it felt. It really felt
I
like
agree with you.
yeah. So I was like, how did the power go out? Like I'm sure it happens. Like I'm sure there's some type of technical reason why, but it did not stop me from thinking, did he do this? Did he just like turn the lights out, you know, pull the breaker or something
Right.
like that, you know what I'm saying? Like and make the power go off because it's not like I mean, if anybody's gonna know how to do it, it would be Luke, you know, because he works on the boat. So it's like I was paranoid at that point, and then like you said, so quickly he's in the bed and they're pulling him out of the bed and they're begging him to get out of the bed.
And I don't remember production being this much in the way, right? To where you
Mhm.
can not only hear them, you see them being like, no, get out. She said no, get out, get out. What? Like,
Right.
I cannot believe that the chutzpah then that he jumps on. Again, I'm sorry, everyone. Like, that if you need to step away, please do so. But he jumps on top of her, and he's only in a towel. So the towel's gone now.
Yeah.
So it's just like penis rubbing up on her back. Like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me right now?
And he's asking her, like, okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you? Do you like, she's like, I don't want to do this. And he's like, is that 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10? It's like, 9 out of 10, sir. She says you don't want to do it. What is like, what are you trying? You gonna try to change her mind? That this is what we're talking about when we talk about, you know, people not understanding consent. You coercing this person who is drunk to have sex with you and then saying she was okay with it because she was 9 out of 10 versus 10 out of 10. That's not the flex you think it is, Luke. This is all so horrible to watch. And then when they finally get him out of bed, they're asking him to leave the room and he's slamming the door in their faces. Like, get out of here.
Constantly. And I was like, this is not your cabin. How can you close a door?
Right. You have no right. This is not your space. And then you're slamming it in production's face.
Yeah, and I was like, they run you technically, so you cannot do that. And they're just like, the fact that I don't know personally how there wasn't security, because in Love and Hip Hop, there's always security around. So I'm just like, how is there not security? That just like snatched his ass and threw him overboard, honestly.
Yeah. That's why it was like where they were, it felt like they were trying to give him some type of leniency because you know he is a person on the show. He is very drunk, so it's like they're trying to give him a little bit of wiggle room, like just get out of the bed, just get out of the bed, and then. But Sasha, I want to know at what point was he fired? Right? Was he fired the moment he went into that room naked? Because I think that's the moment he should have been fired, right? Like not like in the moment on the spot.
So
Right, but is it when he gets in the bed with her naked? Because at that point, you're like, okay, you gotta go. Like you can, but then the 9 out of 10, the slamming the doors, the you know, that kind of thing, the really putting up a fight against it. You know, like, sir, that's at that point, I'm like, where's security? Someone should be walking him off the boat.
I agree. I agree. And it doesn't make any sense with it. I don't know, because it's that like this man thought that he could do this and get away with it. Like, what up with that, right? Because there's a song we sing during Passover, and it like means like if if this happened, it would have been enough, right? If we did this, it would have been enough. And it just kept going and going, to say like it could have stopped basically at one point, right? And
Mhm.
it kept going. But that's Luke. Where it could have been enough, and it should have been fired here and here. And the fact that Aisha, right, who on season 4 of Below Deck Med has shared her story with us,
Mhm.
had to be the one, right, to do all of this. Because then all of this to say Lucas finally pulled out. He goes into his bathroom, and who follows him, Chappelle? Of course, Laura.
The second clown of the episode, because Luke is clown number
Mhm.
1, make no mistake, but she is clown 1B. You know, like she is not as egregious as he is, but make no mistake, nothing she does in this episode is okay. She goes to him and she's trying to coddle him and be like, "Baby, what's wrong? What's going on? Are you okay?" Da, 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 da. And she doesn't know what's happening. So I'll give her credit for that, but
Yes.
she does not know what's happening. But then
Mhm.
from there, it goes to show you everything that she does after that just reinforces that she is part of the problem. Trying to calm down Luke and all that stuff, whatever. Fine. Luke gets fired as he should. Captain Jason ends up telling him, "You can't even sleep on the boat tonight," which is the correct answer. I don't care if we gotta
1000%.
you gotta get off the boat. You're going to a hotel. Goodbye. And then Laura, from that moment on, is like, "Well, I don't think that's fair. And why does he? Where did he go? And I didn't get to say goodbye and all this other stuff, ma'am. What are you
Bitch, if
talking
you
about?"
don't like, I'm sorry. Like, it just this is it's the way I was like, "Oh, let me not try to curse. This is serious." But
Say
it's just
it.
that is my way of like letting out frustration. Cuz
Yeah.
the gall, the unmitigated gall of this human being to be doing that to Adam. Let's not forget that she was out here being
Mm.
doing bullshit, and cut to Adam, right? Her being like, "Hey Adam, let me massage you."
Oh yeah, let's get into that. So Laura, this entire time for the last 2
Yes.
episodes, has been really like, "I'm making my move on Adam," and he has never been receptive to it. Like he at any point has he been receptive to it, and she's been like, "Ah, yeah, but that's what I like." You know what I'm saying? And so we see him actively dodging her throughout the night. And then this situation that is going on with Luke starts to mirror what's happening with Laura. The same way Luke got his naked ass in the bed while Margot was asleep, Laura goes and climbs in the bed while Adam is pretending to be asleep.
Yep.
He's like, "You gotta go." "Well, no, let me just go." "No, you have to leave." "No, well, let me just get on your back." So start putting lotion. So if you let's remove the nakedness and stuff like that from this conversation for 2 seconds and say, if Luke was doing this exact same thing with Margot, he would still need to be
That
fired.
part.
He
That
would still
part.
need to be fired. If Margot was in there asleep and they were both fully dressed and he got in there and started rubbing massage on her back against her will, he should be walked off the boat. So in that moment, I was like, is Laura going to get away with this? Because she's doing the same thing in a sense that we're watching Luke get punished for. And I'm not saying like, "Oh, well, it's not fair." No, I'm saying that everybody should be looked at equally in these situations because sexual assault is
Correct.
never okay.
And we believe everyone. That's the point, right? It isn't just stuck to men or just stuck to women. This affects all of us, and us as a community need to be better about protecting each other. And Miss Brown Sugar says this in the comments as well, and I really appreciate it. Adam running from Laura at every moment, trying to signal to other deckhands to help him out and not leave with Laura. What is going on?
Yeah.
And the fact that
Um,
the chef, right, is the only person I feel like that in that moment was like, "Adam, are you okay?" And then eventually Aisha also does call it out. But why is it only those two people? And the fact that Laura is kissing his cheek, good
yeah.
night, and he's moving his face every time so that he doesn't like get lip to lip contact by mistake. That is assault, 1000%.
Yeah, and when it's finally brought up to Adam, because of course all of this, Aisha brings all of this to light. Which again, Aisha, Serena,
Yes.
they're doing exactly what needs to be done here. But when it's brought up, Adam says, "Well, I've been trying to avoid her and stuff, and tell her no in a nice way or like jokingly, so that I don't embarrass her or shame her." And we see that with men a lot. Men get sexually assaulted too. They get sexually assaulted by men. They get sexually
Mm-hmm.
assaulted by women. People just be sexually assaulting people, and we have to do better as people to not let that happen. But sometimes people don't report stuff. We always hear people,
Yes.
the victim say thing. Why? There are reasons why. This is exactly one of those reasons. This man is trying to be a gentleman. He doesn't want to embarrass her. He doesn't think there's any malice in what she's doing. But if he's in a situation where he doesn't want to be touched, he shouldn't have to throw a big fit about it. You should be able to say no and the person leave you alone. But this stuff happens to men too. It's just crazy that these things happened at the exact same time. Sasha, what were they drinking?
Literally. That
Like,
no, they weren't drinking shit.
they
We've
weren't.
been
Laura wasn't even drunk.
we've just seen this from night one,
Yeah.
actually, right? Like when he kissed her around the hot tub without her consent, and then we are like, she enjoyed it, question mark, right? Like we weren't
Right.
sure. So actually he showed his literal whole ass this episode, but he been showing his ass like constant.
Mm-mm.
This is nothing new.
Yeah.
And I'm over it.
It just
God, he
happens
sucks.
simultaneously, and it's so weird that that's the case. Because again, Captain Jason does what he needs to do. He gets Luke off the boat. Luke is going to get fired the next day, but Laura, who is, I don't know, she just put the patriarchy and misogyny and all that shit on her back and decided to carry it on her own.
She
and
said,
say,
"I'll be the flag bearer.
It's me." It's the drama.
It's
She's
me.
like, bruh, this is, oh, well, I don't think that's fair. He could have got a warning. Like when you signed up to work on the boat and you read through the terms and conditions, the standard operating procedures, the rules and regulations, the HR manual, I'm sure in there it says keep your hands to yourself. That is your warning. It's in writing. You see that? You have a social contract just as a human to not touch other people. You know what I'm saying? But then you go and you break that contract and you break your actually written contract. He does not need an additional warning to not get in the bed naked with somebody.
Guess what? You learned that in like the 4th grade to not assault people. How about that?
To keep your hands to yourself. They're telling kindergarten, stop hitting each other. Stop touching people. Don't touch people. This person's grown ass man. He didn't need an additional warning for something like this, because it'd be different had he like made a maneuver toward her, she told him no, and then he went on, and then they said, hey, just so you know, she doesn't want you touching her. That's like a boom. But for him to basically completely disregard everything that everyone was doing and then tell production no, to the point where they have to drag him out of the bed. Though the warnings are already past that. We're done with that, because
warnings were like it's in another dimension at this point, is how I feel. We're on another planet, and what a sicko, right? That he just, again, and we'll get to all of the like current reactions at the end of the episode, but just to, piss off everyone else adequately, Luke has a girlfriend who has allegedly not spoken up, but responded to a fan about it. So it's just, I'm so frustrating. And it's just, it drives me crazy. And I don't get how Laura just keeps getting to do it. But then Captain shares it. And then we get the Laura Margot conversation, right? And Margot is like, hey, maybe you didn't understand what happened. And that's why you're having, these thoughts about Luke. So let me tell you what happened. And Laura, in all her infinite wisdom, in all her brain deadness, goes, oh, I should have been better about pleasing him, because if he came to my room, I would have been so happy.
Before I speak, like if I speak, Sasha, is this cultural? Why does she feel like it's her?
Whose
it's
culture?
Her?
I
don't know. But that's what I'm saying. Why do you feel like this is your duty to make sure that this man is sexually relieved? Like who put that in your head? That's what I'm asking. Like what instilled that into you? Is it misogyny? Is it your, just the way you were raised to believe that you're supposed to please a man at all costs? Is it because y'all have been together before and you thought like maybe I was inadequate? Like how did we get here to this thought process is what I'm trying to figure out,
Yeah, it's it's Elizabeth Berry says it too.
My
Culture
girl.
of no self-esteem. I think
Bruh.
it's that. It's with internalized misogyny. It's the third. It could never be me. He's always been nice to me. It couldn't be
Mhm.
him. Something must be wrong with you. Right? It's I almost felt like it was a skit, right? Because it was so on the nose with what
Yes.
was going on, with how easily all of this was happening, that I said, am I on Punked?
Right.
Is that what's happening here? Because
Right.
none of this makes sense. Like, the math ain't math in here.
That's what I'm saying. Like it was so it was like all the arguments that you see that are defending sexual assaulters or that are trying to victim blame. We're seeing all of that and it on TV. So every excuse someone has used. What if she wanted it? What if we've been together before? What if we were flirty before? What if she kind of said she wanted to do it? What if I didn't understand? What if I was drunk? Then what could I have done as a woman to make this okay? But should I be the one who I should have pleased them more? He should have come to me. They're like, no, let this man take accountability for him. Laura, it's not your job to
And
now
why are
be
we coddling men or anyone? But why are we treating these grown people like children? Are you for serious?
right.
Why? Because you think he's hot? Like, there aren't 10 guys that look like him that you can probably pull to? Like, baby girl, get it
Yeah.
together, right? Like, this is my problem with pick me girls like this, right? Where
Hmm.
do you think that the leash of patriarchy will be longer for you if you put down other women? Because that's
Right.
what I need to know, right? Like, did he give you what you needed? No, babe, because he's still not with you. He's with someone else.
Did you get the clicks? Did you get the likes? Did you get the engagements? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you his favorite now? Did y'all ride off into the sunset together? You did not win a game because you were the one who was like, well, I was there for him while he was doing trash shit. And so that's why I'm like, I want to know, and that's probably hard for her to probably put it into words, but what leads you to at this point when Margot is saying this horrible thing happened to me, and I'm just happy to have support for you to be the lone dissenter and saying, I don't know, man. You kind of tripping. Like maybe that's too much. Have anybody talked to him? Has anybody asked his like, why do we need to know his opinion about this? He got fired. He may
Yep.
like, look, he might not have ever. This might have been the first time this has ever happened or whatever, and he still needed to have his ass fired. That is the rule. You should not be able to touch people and do. You should not be able to do whatever the hell you want to get away with it and just walk around scot free, right? There are consequences to your actions, and it doesn't matter. There's not enough lecturing in the world that would have made this okay. So I'm not quite sure
Mhm.
what like I said, what the thought process was that got her there, but she was in it. She was parked and dumb and stuck on stupid the whole time. Just like I'm gonna keep repeating these things over and over. Dear God, I'm surprised Margot didn't slap her.
That's what I'm saying. How do you not? And I do want to take a note. My beloved Med put this in the chat, and I understand as well. Maybe Laura's a victim herself in a past situation and doesn't even realize it, and her trauma is causing her to think this is okay. Very possible.
Very much
Very
so.
much so. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not even going to say that can't be true. But the thing is, like, how do we not traumatize more
Hmm.
folks with our trauma? That is story of our life. And I can, we can all speak from personal experience, right? Like being a minority, being a woman, any of it, right? Any part of our identity that is not quote unquote the norm, we know how it feels to hurt and to deal with all of this. And you can't put that shit on other people.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's what I was
And
like.
it
That's what
just
I was like. How did you get here in your thought process? You know what I'm saying? Like, what got you to the point where and if she is a victim, then my heart goes out to her too, because
exactly.
she's just sitting here like defending these actions that we know are despicable. And it's kind of like there has to be a reason why. There has to be a reason why you think this is okay, why you feel like this, and I'm hoping that you find the help that you need because it's just not okay to keep this kind of shit going.
Yeah. It's just all of it together, right? Is so painful to watch. And Margot, rightfully so, calls out this behavior to Aisha and says, like, I don't understand why she's talking to me like this. And because of that, Aisha says, I already am pissed off at this lady. She's trying to switch shifts with me when I'm chief stew. She's been undermining me my whole time. She's, talking to Adam a little crazy and treating Adam's space like it doesn't matter. Adam's boundaries out the door. All of this together. Now it's time for me to act. So she goes back to Captain, rightfully, and says, listen, we just had this talk, but I think you need to one-on-one talk with Laura and figure out what's going on because Adam actually also doesn't feel comfortable. And a masterclass by how a boss should be. Captain calls Adam in. What's going on? Adam, repeats what he's been saying. Like, I feel uncomfortable, and I've been trying to let her down easy. I don't want to make her feel uncomfortable. Amazing. Captain says, I'm over it, right? I just had a conversation and now, Laura, you're doing this. He talks to Laura and he lets Laura go. And honestly, the fact that she's like, so not even a warning, you just want to let me go?
Yeah.
Who
absolutely.
are you?
Why do you feel like you deserve a warning? That was the warning. He sat you all down and said, respect people's boundaries. And then you went to Margot and said, let's talk about the thing that's so horrible to you, that you're in here crying about, that everyone just said Luke got fired about. Let's talk about how that was your fault. Like, what did you do? What could you have done differently? What do you mean? That was your chance to be a normal human being, right? And to have some compassion for somebody who was in the situation, the victim. You're looking at Luke like the victim. You haven't heard Luke's side of the story. You're just looking at him as a victim because he's a man that you like. Like, stand up. Stand up. Like, get the hell up. What are you doing?
Or why sit down, right, on your side. The problem is she's standing up too damn much. Right. Just go over there. Because she said, boundary, I don't know her. And just like bulldozes everything. So I just appreciate that the captain this is what you need in a ally, right? In someone, in your boss, in an ally, to actually able to bring it all together. And Lolly says this in the chat, and I agree as well, that I'm glad Adam was honest about it and didn't brush it off because he's a man. Listen, this new generation, they get it, okay? I think he's younger, and I wonder if that helps for him to understand that this isn't okay, right? And this isn't okay to happen to me as well. So I loved all of their responses to it, except and they're both fired. And when I tell y'all, I was gobsmacked that actually the both of them got fired. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, the whole episode, I was thinking, yes, Luke should be fired. And then I started looking at Laura thinking, she can go too. But, to be honest, us, the deckhands, the galley gals and galley guys, us, the crew here, we've been saying Laura could go. She been half-assing just as a employee for episode upon episode upon episode. And I really thought that this might be a good episode for her at first because they didn't have to wait 4 hours for her to get dressed to go to the bar. And then she just showed her ass for the next day and a half. It was like, at some point, lady, let it go. What did you want to happen? She had totally made this whole thing about herself. She got to the point where she was like, well, now my feelings are hurt. I don't feel good about him being gone. Margot looked at her like, girl, who gives a shit what you think? Like, who gives a flying fuck what this does to you? You're not the victim here. This is not about you. It's not. So she's
fascinating. I will never understand how you can center yourself when it's not about you.
Right.
But then let's make it about you. And let's make it about what you the hell have been doing to Adam. How about that? Because let's play that game. And thank God that they did.
Do you think when they go back and watch this, right? Because that is our hope, right? Our hope is that when people see this, there's changed behavior across the masses, right? We hope people who watch this, who've never been in these situations, now know how to deal with it, or now more aware of these situations. But we also hope that people who have done this to people, who've said stupid shit like Laura, who've gotten drunk like Luke and done stupid shit, they watch this kind of stuff and they say, oh my God, I look like an asshole, or I look dumb, or I look horrible, and I need to apologize, and I need to atone and do whatever it takes to come to peace with the fact that, like, I've done some horrible things and I need to be a better person. Do you think that Laura, because I'm not even going to get into the Luke thing yet, because that's a whole other, Like I don't think we ever hear from him again. You know, like there's no what do we need? We don't need him on the reunion. We don't have questions. We saw everything. But for Laura, do you go home and do you watch this and think, damn, they right, I was tripping? Or is this just like, nope, still don't understand. I should have got a warning. Like, what do you think, Sasha?
I think that folks that are this far gone, I don't know that they can really quote unquote change. I think they will change their behavior publicly to not get canceled, which also canceling doesn't exist. It's just called consequences of your
That's
shitty
it.
actions. But anyway, I think that they'll learn how to be better about how they move in the world, but not internally. And here's the thing, we can talk about it now. Laura ended up posting an apology. It's her back turned on her Instagram, and it's literally just like her living her best life. My sincere apologies to Adam. She's like in a beautiful landscape with the sea in the background. I did not realize I made him feel uncomfortable, and no one should be put in that position. And to Margot, to not be able to empathize. I was 29 when the show was filmed. 30, 30 was my life changer. I'm 31 now, and I'm watching it all as all of you, an entertainment show.
I ain't like it. Sorry. And look, and here's the thing. I can't speak to her level of sincerity, but she acted as though it sounds as though she's like, at 31 I've decided to change. You know, like they're like, she didn't say this situation opened my eyes or I watched this in horror. You know, she's like, now I watch the show as if it's TV.
Yep.
Girl, that's not the problem.
And who's
That's not the
entertained
issue.
by this, bitch?
Right.
Not us. Be serious, fool. Like, oh my God.
Sasha.
I'm sorry. I'm so angry. How did these people get to like live their life and not be under the jail?
Right. It's just like you should not be devoid of consequence. You know, people mess up and do horrible things a lot of times, and then you hope that people can be rehabilitated. Some people believe that you cannot be rehabilitated, but at the very least, I would like to see remorse. You know,
Yes, that's the piece. Yep.
right. Show that you care. Show that that's the thing that happened, and you are saddened that you did it. You know, like not that somebody's feelings was hurt to Margot. All this. No, you owe Margot an apology because you mistreated her. You disrespected that lady in her time where she was praising everybody about how careful they had been toward her and how much love that she had been experiencing. This woman's going through a horrible thing that she barely even can remember because that's how drunk she was. But all she knows for sure is that everybody had her back except Laura.
Exactly. And the fact that I'm telling you, it's just Laura, the way she was moving. That's why I don't know that I feel like I trust her, right? There was a somber mood that morning, and Laura immediately is like, I have no hangover. I feel so good, blah, blah, blah. You know something happened last night. Like, you can't be serious. Lucas literally locked himself in a room. Culver is sleeping in the guest cabin, and you're telling me you have no idea, and you're just like, I'm doing so well, blah, blah, blah. You knew she wasn't nothing. You knew she was trash when all of this was going on. I'm tired. Okay, I just absolutely can't breathe with all of these people. But then also, can someone send me the Luke thing? Because I cannot find it. His apology.
Sasha, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can't hear you at all.
Oh no, can y'all hear me?
Oh no, I believe it. Come back.
Okay. Oh no. Here we are. Yeah, it's just she's pissing me the hell out. Y'all can hear me, right? Chat, can you hear me? Are we good? Here we go. Technical difficulties. But it is what it is. And I don't understand why all of these folks together get to live their life, y'all. And not only that, then there's a lot of social media stuff that has come out after this. And one of the biggest things I must say was Chef Zarania posted a change.org petition to make criminal background checks a legal requirement to apply to seafarers internationally. Sorry, why is that not normal? Like, why are there no background checks for these people?
Oh wait, so who needed the background check? So what happened?
So Chef Zarania, so I was talking about what's going on social media right after.
Mhm.
So Chef Zarania posted a change.org petition to make criminal background checks a legal requirement to apply to seafarers internationally. First of all, why is this not already a thing? Is my question.
That is a good question. I don't know. I just assume most jobs do background checks when they especially dealing with the public. Like if you have to
Mm-hmm.
deal with people, because you don't want anybody who has like any sexual misconduct on their record, right? Like any sex offenders, because
Yeah.
certain people can't work with kids, and or something like that. Like there's a lot of reasons why. I don't know. That's so curious to me that you would allow that to happen without any type of like pre screening. I don't know, I find that very weird.
Mm-hmm. It's just all of it together is pissing me the hell off. And I don't know. And I'm sorry to keep saying I'm frustrated, but I am, because I can't believe folks are being put in these dangerous ass situations.
Yeah, and this episode, honestly, it could have been a good thing to see the other stuff that was happening in this episode without all of this. Like I think we had a decent shot at having some good TV. I thought that the charter was nice. I thought that the people was very nice. We saw them give a
Yeah.
good tip. They were
Amazing tip.
fun.
Yeah.
Right. They came back from this they were down what 3-1, at some point with the food, and Zarina just comes out of nowhere. She pulls out all the stops and makes it happen. There was a beautiful memorial to this man's mom. There was so much good that we can't even acknowledge it because we have to spend, an hour talking about why Luke and Laura just completely just as humans
Steamrolled. Yeah.
just destroyed everything. That like we can't have nice things when people do shitty stuff like this. Like this is why we have to talk about these things. And man, Sasha, I think I'm so happy that you were able to give out the trigger warnings and even
Mm-hmm.
to the hotline, because like I said, I feel like this stuff is something that you shouldn't have to talk about if you don't want to talk about it. If you've been through these situations, you shouldn't have to like relive that kind of trauma. You shouldn't have to watch it on TV. I It just occurred to me while we were talking, that they didn't even put up a trigger warning before the show.
No,
I'm
no.
thinking,
Yeah, chat was talking about that too. They put it at the end of
yeah,
episode 7, I believe.
yeah. They put the hotline up at the end,
Yeah.
but my thing is, before I start watching this, there needs to be some type of content warning. Even as podcasters, we go out of our way to, if we can, include a content warning at the beginning. We've recorded them both for numerous podcasts ourselves. Sometimes podcasts where going in that the subject matter is still going to be triggering. Like you're watching a show about drug dealers and murders and stuff like that. And sometimes we still come in and say, hey, there's content in here that's XYZ. But for Bravo to just kind of let us find out while we're in it, it's a little irresponsible to me. Like I said, I'm not here to like police Bravo on how they handle stuff, because I was really proud of the stuff that production did. But like we could still go the extra mile to take care of each other. Like you said, this needs to be a community issue. This is not just one person did one thing one time. We know this is for one, a systemic issue. Dealing with just the way the hierarchy is with men and not believing women when these things happen, and just feeling like you have agency over other people's bodies. But then, like just from a human standpoint, let's all just make sure we're all taken care of, and then we don't have to deal with stuff like this.
Let's be better at being communal, right? How about that? And shout out to Anna for sending me this on Twitter. So here's Luke's apology.
No.
It's Luke undressed. It's him just like laying back, and he's pulled his shirt up so that you can see his abs. And it's posted by Best of Bravo, and on Twitter it's at Brightly again. I'm retweeting it right now. And Luke posted this. It does not matter what they think about you because you don't care. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. Take ownership and move forward.
I'm like, you see me? I'm in my phone looking, like trying to get to Twitter. I'm like, I need to see this.
If you're listening to this, maybe come to YouTube for this one today. But boy, howdy, right? Like to put all of this together, this is why I don't believe these people can change.
That's incredible. How do you It's first of all, this is an awful picture. Number one, um, everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is perspective, not the truth. Take ownership and move forward. What the fuck is he talking? Get the I never need to see this man on my screen again. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the proof. You know,
Ever, y'all.
because what the hell did that even mean? Everything you see is not the truth. It's like he's saying, who you gonna believe, me or your lying eyes? Like, my eyes, damn it, I seen it.
But you are caught in 4K HD TV.
Big ass screen. What are you talking about? What
Baby,
is he
there's
talking
proof
about?
over and over again. Stop it. Stop the lies. Stop the. Oh my God. The fact that these people just get to live and live their life. Not only live, they get to thrive while Margot has to deal with this for the rest of her life. And whoever else, right? I refuse to believe this is Luke's only victim either.
I'm still stuck on, like, because you don't care. What do you mean you don't care? You don't care that happened and that you're on television?
He's a predator.
Yeah, it's like the biggest self-report in the world. Like, we already saw you, but now you're saying like, yep. It feels like you're saying I stand by it. You know, like, I did it and I do it again because y'all can't tell me who I am as a person. Like, yes, we fucking can. We just saw you. That's incredible. I didn't. Dog, that cannot be what he cannot think that was an apology. There's no way.
I was like, was he hacked? You know, and his Instagram's private. That's why I'm pissed. But also, chat's already talking about this. But this one I did have chat. So his girlfriend, allegedly, right? Someone reached out and said the fact that you're with this man shows you condone his behavior of him being a predator, right? That's what this person said. And his girlfriend said, girl, he was just acting. It's a TV show. It's not real life. And I'm laughing because that is my response to uncomfortable.
What are they? Okay. Oh, pause. We have to really talk about this. Now I got a headache now. Okay. So is Luke and his girlfriend insinuating that this is like movie magic? Like, this is not really what happened.
It's deep fake AI, baby.
I need to know what she's saying. Is she saying that this is an act? This did not happen. This was for TV.
No, he was just acting. That means he did it. But it's just he was put up to it, right? Acting means he did it. He did the act.
But also, but he was put up to it? By whom? Production? Like, what are you insinuating? Is the show scripted and he's just supposed to get written off like that? What are they trying to say?
Connect the dots for me, because I cannot.
That's tough. Yeah, that's a tough one, man. I don't bro. Like, I understand him being like, I don't take any responsibility. Whatever, fine. You don't know me. I'm an asshole. Whatever. That's who I am. Whatever. We know a lot of people like that. You are exactly what we thought you were. Good day, sir. I never need to see you again. But she make it sound like, oh, like you believe everything you see. Like, yeah, bro, you can't tell you're watching TV. And even Laura said, I'm gonna just watch the show like it's entertainment. What script were these people reading off of that we missed it? Are we being punched? Seriously, did we miss? Is there candid camera around? Is there a script?
No, wait, maybe I'm on the Truman Show.
Right.
And you are all watching me react to this. That's the only way this makes sense.
Right, chat, y'all are with me, right? Like, these people, all three of these people make it sound like TV did it. Even though I heard Margot say over and over and over again that she didn't want to be involved with that man. She said, no, Luke, bedtime, sleepy time, get out the bed. No, I don't want it. All this other stuff. We see Asia telling him, we see the production pulling him out. He's slamming the door. Are y'all telling me this is supposed to be acting? Like, this man is a paid actor to act like sexual assault happened? Because if so, we need to talk to Bravo. At this point, it's above us. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is ridiculous. There's no way that's what these people are insinuating.
God. I'm telling you, I saw a while ago and I was waiting. That's why I didn't send it to you early, because I needed the reaction. Because these people deserve to be under the jail, right? Like, not jail, under the jail.
What? I just don't understand what they're saying. That's what they're saying. Like, this is the edit. What is happening?
It's acting. Luke was put up to this.
But who
By
made the
who?
call?
The devil. The
Right.
devil pulling his puppet strings, making you do it. It's like, get out of here, dude.
This is incredible. I'm sorry that those two added layers just really pissed me off. I'm sorry
Uh-huh.
because I
Are you ready to be pissed off more?
let's do it.
Let's do it. So then, and there are a lot of like really nice things. Sorry, let me say that before we get to the more pissed off part. Aisha shared, thank you everyone for the love and support. She just wants everyone to remember to stay on the main message that everyone has a right to go out and have fun and be safe. Again, we are also repeating that everyone has a right to go out, be safe, and we keep an eye on our friends. That's just how it works, right? Like if I'm out with you and I'm drunk, you're gonna make sure I make it home safe. It's just the truth of it. Like, what do you mean? And then we had Captain Jason also, said like, thank you so much. And he actually shouted out production to say like, thank you for them stepping in because he said captains don't know what happens on night outs. They only know what we see basically. And if no one tells them anything, they can't act. So he's just grateful that production acted swiftly so that, and Aisha acted swiftly so that he could. All right.
Yeah.
Now it's time, right? Culver became the bosun in the intermediate. And he's already not the bosun because in the future, we do see in the coming up who is going to be the new bosun. Well, everyone, it is going to be Joao. And in case you're like,
Joao?
yeah, right?
Okay. No, I'm trying to learn how to say his name. This is the first time I'm meeting this
Yeah.
person.
Oh,
Joao.
yeah. And if folks are like, who the F is that?
Me.
Well, everyone, Joao and Aisha were on Below Deck Med season 4 together. He was on, I believe, season 3 is a previous season as well. I'll just say that. And basically, he, just in case folks didn't know, sucks. All right. It's like we traded one assaulter for another dickhead. Like, I don't know how else to say it nicely. And yeah, Anna said it best in the chat. Oh my god, you're lucky to not know him, Chappell. Oh, oops.
Yeah. No,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
so
So okay. So
yeah.
here's what he's done, y'all, in case
Okay.
folks are new to this. But we're true to this. So he has called Asia a Russian prostitute when she was dressed out for a night out. And she was like, how do I look, y'all? And then he said to her also that you remind me of my mom.
Is his mom a Russian prostitute? Why would he say that?
Exactly. And the thing is, then there is a Twitter account at Countess and Frenemy that retweeted actually the full scenes from that season. So go check that out. But it's real. I remember him. I was like, oh no, this is the man. I don't remember obviously the exact seasons, but I remembered him because his first season was like a Gary, right? Women were like coming to him all the time. He was just blah, 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 whatever. It was still shit, but like they were coming to him. Then second season, it felt like he liked Aisha, and Aisha has said that that is correct on an after show. But he comes out, and it's obvious that she's maybe not really into him, and that's when the switch flips. And
I don't like this. Sorry, don't like it. I'm not a fan. I've heard enough.
Yep.
Mostly because I think so highly of Aisha.
Yeah.
I think so highly of Aisha. But even prior to this episode, I always thought she was just so cool and like funny and like she, like I said, she's in the mess but in the right way. So now we're about to bring in drama for her. Like I don't want drama for her. She was chilling, but I guess they gotta have drama in some way. I don't want this.
And he Joel also was like, I can't believe I remember this. It's just like searing in my brain. But I remember he's like, I like women that are ladylike and blah blah blah. And I like when they don't act the way Aisha does, blah blah blah. And Aisha was with someone named Jack at that point, and he was like the sweetest person. So Joel was like to his deckhand who's dating Aisha, was like, I don't like girls that fart. Why do Asia fart so much? Blah, blah, blah. And Jack just goes, she can fart on me, man. I don't give a shit. She can do whatever she wants. I think she's perfect. What happened to Jack? Ugh.
That's a different kind of love. She can fart on me. Look.
Well, no, because I think he was just standing up for her because like Joao
Yeah.
was like going out of his way to be really mean.
Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah, and again, chat also is remembering all the other stuff he said. Yeah, he sucks. And he allegedly, folks are like got better his second season. Better from what? He sucks.
I don't need this. I don't need this.
Mhm.
Again, I don't know if there's another way you insert drama into this show, but this is not the way I would like for it to go. I'm not a fan.
Yep. I'm tired. So let's see, right? Everyone just like hold on to your butts when he's coming on. And Miss Boucher get correct. Okay. Below Deck seems to hire only trash, problematic bosun first officers. Where is the lie? And Anna said she did see photos during filming that he joined the cast and couldn't believe it. I try to be spoiler free. So that was the first time I saw him when I was like, huh? What?
Yeah.
Him? How dare? So that's what we have coming up. There's a lot of coming up stuff, right? Like there's going to be Joao and Margot having a moment, then Harry feeling a type of way about it, and then there's going to be a new stew, and Margot seems to be threatened by her ? Maybe it's just a joke confessional talking about her being blonde and beautiful. And unfortunately, Culver seems to be hooking up with the new stew. So sorry for that.
I was really rooting for Culver and Zarina, right? The Sheffy. I was hoping that was a thing. Okay, fine.
Yeah, so that's to come. And yes, thank you, Caitlin. Caitlin also shares how she loved that Zarania made everyone comfort food. It was cute. I agree. I think that's so sweet. And just Sheffy being the best. Okay. And I think if folks have questions, feel free to put in the chat. If not, I think we can wrap this up. It's been wild. They did get a good tip in case folks were wondering. It was 25,000. So, we're making moves.
Yeah. Yes. I think we talked about the big elephant in the room like we needed to. I think that it does largely make a lot of the episode irrelevant, right? Like, we saw some food stuff happening. We saw, XYZ, Adam got the helmet, whatever. We really have to address the things that, that matter. And I think that we did. But Sasha, there was a Below Deck Project Runway crossover this week. Yeah. So for the people in the chat, for the deckies, for the deckhands, the galley gals, the galley girls, the galley guys, I be watching Project Runway. It's my comfort show. I watch it when I clean my shoes. It makes me feel like I know what I'm talking about when I talk about fashion. So this week, we had the cast or some past Below Deck people, some current Below Deck people all got to go on Project Runway because they do a challenge called like the Real Client Challenge, right? So normally they are designing for models, right? This time they got to design for the deck people, right? So this is good stuff here. And so I was very excited, but as y'all know, I'm new to Below Deck, and so I was very excited to talk to Sasha about this because I have questions about some of the people who are on the show. All right, so Sasha, do you know anything about the episode of Project Runway?
No, I didn't end up watching it, so I don't.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So they're like to the final 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, the final 8, and so they bring in 8 people, and so here are the people that they use that we know and that that I know and that I don't know, right? So of course they have my girl Aisha. I was very excited to see her. They also have Daisy. From Sailing Yacht.
Yeah, we know Daisy.
They had Colin as well.
Oh, is that why they were both in LA? I wonder.
No,
there was some like drama.
I think they do.
It's New York.
New York. Yeah,
you're right.
And so Colin was there, and Gary was there. So you had all 3 of them together.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening? And then you, of course, you had Captain Jason. From this one, right? And then you had from Below Deck Med, you had Z, you had Courtney.
Oh, I love Z.
Yeah, Z was there.
You would like Z, yeah.
I enjoyed Z on Project Runway as well too. And then Daisy, I'm sorry, Courtney was there.
Oh,
Um,
oh, Daddy. Did she say Daddy at all?
I don't think so, but she did twerk.
Yeah, so
Um,
so her and Z likes her, but Courtney, yeah, it's weird. I'll just say that.
okay, cool. So you had Z, you had Courtney, you had Captain Sandy.
Oh.
Yeah, and I think that's it. I think that's everybody. So Z, Aisha, Courtney, Daisy, Sandy, Colin, Jason, and Gary. That was the crew. And they were brought on by Captain Lee, who I'd never seen before. Spicy
Oh,
gentleman.
welcome, Boat Daddy.
Yeah,
Yes.
spicy gentleman, very sharp dressed old man. I was like, okay, like old man goals. One day I aspire to be as fly as that
You
gentleman.
listen.
Yeah.
He
So,
was fired, by the way, allegedly, or let go
ooh,
from Below Deck proper. So
uh,
boo.
okay, yeah, boo that, because I'm a fan of Captain Lee. So basically, the challenge was they had to take the formal uniforms that they wear and like flip them into something a little bit more fashion forward, but it had to still be functional, right? And so the winner of the challenge was a designer named Bishme. And this is All Star, so people might already be familiar with Bishme. But his client was Aisha. And I did. Yeah. And so it was fun to see Aisha on the runway
Mhm.
because she won. She did. First of all, she fly as hell. She really like. I wish I had brought pictures to put up on the screen, but
Yeah,
she
it's
really did
fine.
the things. Z looked the fool because because he don't like listen. Us Africans, we be fly and we just like to be dramatic and flamboyant sometimes in our dress, and he was not dialing it back. I'll say that much. But I was a fan of Z. But then, Sasha, I do have some good mess for you. Okay.
Yes, please, please.
All right. So there is a designer named Anna. Okay. This is Anna's second time playing Project Runway. And she's married and she recently had a baby not too long ago.
Mhm.
Well, Anna is teamed up with Captain Jason. And and everything is going fine, right? Captain Jason is Captain Jason. He's amazing.
But
Um, yeah, and our Anna in the chat says Captain Jason
yes.
was there too, and they managed to make him look less hot. Yes, that is the case. Anna did lose the challenge. She
Boo.
yeah, she did lose the challenge because she came up with it. It was a bad concept. It was a bad fit. It just wasn't going to happen.
Just
But
no
that is
shirt or
that,
any clothes.
very simple. But Captain Jason's like a dad, so he's like, I want something loose fitting and
Stop
comfortable.
it,
It's like
Jason.
why people came to see here, Jason. Like you boy. Anyway, so what happens is they have to go
Mhm.
to the workroom and they're doing all their fittings and stuff like that. And then afterwards, they're like, okay, now you gotta get to live the below deck life and go out and drink and stuff.
Oh.
So so the designers are out with the below deck people, and the below deck people are doing below deck things. And then I look up and I see Anna and Gary, and
Oh.
Gary is flirting hard. He's doing the Gary move. They're sitting outside. She's like, "Oh, we should party more." He's kissing her on her neck, kind of pick, like a little peck on the cheek, kind of situation. And
Gary! Gary is
and
so crazy, bro.
yeah, Anna's 4 tequila shots in. She's like, "I'm letting loose," but like. Me and Gary are just friends, and everybody's like, watch it. And I'm at home screaming, like, Gary, why is this happening
And
again?
Daisy's there.
And Daisy and Colin are both there. Yeah. And so so what happens is the other designers are like, should we say something to Anna? Because she's 4 tequila shots in and she's getting real close to Gary. Ultimately, Anna doesn't do anything. She goes home
Thank God.
and then she shows up the next day. She's like, I don't have a hangover. And everybody's very happy for her because she got really drunk. And then she says to the cameras, like in her confessional, I'm happily married. I was not flirting with Gary. So I don't know what he thinks this is, but that's over with.
But he
So
kissed her on
he
the
kind of gave her like a peck, kind of like a oh I'll see you
uh-uh.
later type situation. Yeah, like in the friendliest way, right? And I got these air quotes because if you're listening to this, you all know what I'm talking about. So Anna in her confessional was like, yeah, that was fun, but there's nothing there. Let's stop it. And so when they come into the workroom the next day, they have to get fitted for their outfits, and everybody's coming to their person. Anna's still working on hers on Captain Jason, and Gary kind of comes around like hovering, like, hey, Anna type situation.
Oh
And she
hell.
pays him dust. She doesn't even look in his direction. I'm thinking she completely curves this man on TV in front of everybody.
She said I
I
needed
was
to be drunk to see you.
She said, I'm good. Thank you. It was so good. I was like, it's only good because it was Gary. It's only good because it was Gary. She didn't even look in his direction. I mean, it
Oh my
was
god. Okay,
bad.
I'm gonna go watch it.
Yeah,
I'm
you just
gonna go
you just
watch
have
it.
to see that scene because
No,
he's kind
I
of standing
love
there, kind of
Project
like,
Runway. I used to watch it all the time. It's just I fell
yeah.
off.
Oh, I've been fell off years ago. I just got back
Oh
in for
my
this
god.
season, but it was the perfect timing.
Michelle
Um,
has me dying. Anna
yes,
says something like, I'm not married for these 2 hours. Anna,
she was like,
I love
"We're
you.
just having a good time." Oh yeah, Anna's the best. Make no mistake, she is hilarious. But with the way Gary is like a little kid, kind of like waiting for her to get his her attention,
Mhm.
and the camera sees the whole thing. Like she kind of glances almost over, like, and unbothered goes back to work, and he just kind of like, okay, okay, and just leaves. And I was like, Gary, this is the second time I saw you get played on television. Because I definitely watched you take the L on Sail a Yacht, and now I see you here too. Boom, I love it.
It's
Um,
over for you. Curtains. You have peaked, baby boy. It's time
he's
for you
on
to
the
go.
downside. Yeah. And his outfit honestly wasn't that great either. I mean, he made his designer Laurence, she made him a leather jacket. And I was like, he already thinks he's a bad boy. He doesn't need a leather jacket. Like, he doesn't need that kind of reinforcement.
He's also, I think, a little short. Speaking as a shorty, I think, yeah,
Mhm,
it's hard to style probably shorter people. Like, you have to be
probably.
really correct in
Yeah,
how
and
you do it.
yeah, and so they all had a good time on the runway. Like I said, Aisha was a standout. Courtney also a standout. I think they were in the top two. Um, Daisy had a good showing as well. Those were the three kind of
Okay.
standouts. I think Colin. Colin had like a
Oh,
jumpsuit type situation that did really well. But Captain Jason, as beautiful as that man is, like the designers went up when he came down the aisle. Woo! But his outfit just wasn't the thing, so he got sent home.
damn.
But it was the perfect mesh of both shows though, because you really did
Oh,
get the
I
Project
love
Runway
that.
feel.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
then all of a sudden they bring in the below deck people to go out, and it's like boom, it's below deck. You got Gary doing Gary things, and then Anna just curves that man so viciously,
It's what
and
he
then
deserves.
yeah, and then she ends the episode with her catchphrase "Shine on them hoes," and I was like, yes, Anna, queen.
Oh my god. That's honestly, I wish that should be my tagline. I will be stealing it now.
Yes, you should.
Oh my god.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
and
that was
Michelle
the
said
thing.
Kate was
Yeah,
a judge.
Kate and
Queen.
Kate and dang, who was the other person?
Not
Y'all are
Captain Lee.
no. Um, she was a housewife. She was on the show last
Oh.
year actually. Dang it. It'll come to me in a second. But yes,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was a good episode,
Oh,
and I
Countess
loved it.
Luann.
Yeah, Luann, that's what it was.
Who
Countess Luann.
Countess Luann is who Andy is trying to get to hook up with Chase.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's who, like, because since Chase wants like an older woman from below deck sailing yacht, since he wants an
Mhm.
older woman to settle
Countess
down
Luann.
with, Countess
Gotcha.
Luann is who Andy is trying with.
Look, having Kate as a judge and Countess Luann as judges, they're both baddies, and so it was perfect. But yeah, the episode was so good. Like I said, from a Project Runway standpoint, there was definitely some outfits where I'm like, but just from a television standpoint, the best of both worlds. You really got Project Runway and Below Deck all in
Ugh,
in
I
one place,
love
and so
that.
that was the high point for Below Deck for me this week, Sasha. I can't lie.
No, this
Downhill
as
from
it
here.
should. As it
Yeah.
should be. Okay. Everyone, if you need a palate cleanser, go watch Project Runway. But anything else, Chappelle, from this ridiculousness?
No. This was a good time talking to you. I really wish it was under
Yes.
different circumstances though, because dear God, horrible, horrible time to talk about these horrible things, like these actions. But I do think that if you don't talk about them, then they keep getting covered up. And so, it's our responsibility to kind of just make sure that we do that. And so, yeah, it was a good time talking to you, but I wish it was under different circumstances. And hopefully next week we get some positive content. But I'm not optimistic anymore now that I find out who's coming in as the new bosun. So,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know,
We'll see. I think there's going to be a lot of drama. Caitlin, you called it out, and I was about to as well. Biggest chat crowd we've had, period. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Maybe you got lost for Big Brother. I'm not mad.
yeah,
Hope you stayed and enjoyed all of this. And if you do enjoy it, make sure you leave us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. We are now, I believe, at 91 ratings. We are 7
mhm.
away from Chappelle going full Greek god on us.
Yes, which means I need to go to the gym when we're done with this. Um, But yes, keep those reviews coming. We're on Spotify. We're on wherever you get your. We should be wherever you get your podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. So smash that like button as well on YouTube if you're watching us
Mm-hmm.
live, and then yeah, subscribe to RHAP, all that good stuff, and then follow us on social media to keep up with everything.
Yes, and subscribe to our Bravo TV Wrap Ups feed so more people can find us. We're new and
Mm-hmm.
we need more people here. So let's get more people in our galley gals, galley guys
Yeah.
moments. And let's keep our family growing. But with that, thank you everyone for listening. Chappelle, where can the people find you?
People can follow me on Twitter at Chappelle's_show, where I'll be tweeting out the links of all the things we're talking about and podcasting about, and all the things I got going on. Or you could just follow me for a good joke every now and then. I'm on there clowning around. So catch me, of course, on Rob Has a Podcast talking about Big Brother throughout this season. I was just on Taryn's morning update yesterday to talk about Big Brother before it got really, really spicy today. And I believe Sasha's going to do later on, but
Yep.
whatever. Catch
The
me on
Lukes
there.
will follow
Yeah.
me
Yeah, we
everywhere
got
I go.
big week for Luke's for sure. And then of course you can catch me on Silent Podcast, where I did guest on the Project Runway, the Make It Work podcast this week with Naomi, Nicole, and Gia. And so if you want to hear my full takes on that episode, go check it out over there. Sasha and I are still covering Never Have I Ever on Silent Podcast, and so we're 2 episodes away from being done with that. So check us out. And then Rob and I are still covering Netflix shows on Nothing But Netflix. And so if you're not a subscriber for Nothing But Netflix, what are you waiting on? Go subscribe. Tell them how much you love me, and then maybe Rob will give me a big fat raise, and we'll keep talking about stuff. And I think that's it. Oh no, I lied. I was just on Silent Podcast talking about The Traders New Zealand. So somebody sent me the link, y'all, because I don't live in New Zealand. Spoiler alert. And so I got to talk to Sarah and Sean over on Silent Podcast about that. It's been a good time. But again, follow me on Twitter or follow me on Instagram at Chappelle TNT, and you'll see all the stuff I'm working on.
Yes. And as for me, as always, I am over on Mess Magnet, where Kristen McKennis and I are talking hot topics, celebrity gossip. We covered all the Lizzo mess this week. So check that out on Rob as a website /mess feed. I'm also on Silent Podcast, like Chappelle said, covering Never Have I Ever with him. Over on Post Show Recaps, I'm covering Special Ops Lioness. And when I say trigger warnings, boy, I mean it. Okay, what a show. But Jason Reed and I are covering it. We're almost done with that as well. And I was a guest on 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days this week. So check that out on Rob Has a Podcast. And I'll be on tonight's Big Brother recap, or Wednesday's Big Brother recap, whenever you're listening to it, talking about the other Luke. And for everything else, just follow me on Twitter at funsize_04. Leave us that 5-star review. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. We appreciate you. Bye.